Hi. So I just wanted to create a really quick video on what it costs to cruise the Mediterranean. And so just to give you a little bit of the backstory, I took a 10-day Greek Isles cruise on the Norwegian Pearl last July, and it was absolutely amazing. This cost is going to be based on Norwegian cruise lines. It may differ depending on the cruise line that you book your cruise on. So with that, let's get into it. So again, as I said, I took a 10-day cruise. So I picked the balcony cabin because I love to be close to the water. Like, just imagine stepping outside into the balcony, into the Mediterranean breeze, being able to really, be one with the atmosphere, being able to eat your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner out there on the balcony, getting some sunshine in. That was the best option for us. And so the balcony is a little bit more expensive, but I also upgraded. So we got the free at sea. I don't drink, so I removed that, but we kept the specialty dining package. I added the unlimited Wi-Fi because I go to the gym 6 days a week. So I needed my Spotify. I'm sorry. I was gonna pay the upcharge to make sure that I can listen to Spotify as I'm killing it on the elliptical. I also added the soda package for my son. And then I also booked excursions for us at each of the 9 ports. This was our first time going to Europe, so I wanted us to have the best experience possible. And I wanted to get the best bang for my buck. So with that, we added excursions, and with the balcony suite and the upgrades that I mentioned and the excursions, the total for the cruise came out to $7,651.24. To some, that might be expensive. To some, that may be a drop in the bucket. Again, it really depends on your budgetary constraints and your preferences. Now, moving into flights. I booked our flights 6 months in advance, and for the 2 of us, our flights came out to $2,902. We didn't sit in the back, too far in the back, and we didn't sit really close to the front. We were literally in the middle, and that's the sweet spot for us. As long as my son had a window seat, we were good to go. Now, moving into the hotels. So we traveled from New York to Venice, and we actually flew out a day before the cruise. And so, tip for anyone that's trying to take a Mediterranean cruise or any cruise outside the US or wherever you're domiciled, definitely fly out at least a day or 2 in advance, because you don't want to book your flight the day of and then something happens. No, we don't want any issues. We're traveling. We want to travel with peace and tranquility and just good vibes. So again, book your travel a day or 2 in advance. Also book your hotels. And so for me specifically, I booked our hotel in Trieste. Once we touched down at Venice, we actually got into a shared private transfer. And so I can talk about a little later about how much we paid for transportation costs, but we took a shared private transfer to Trieste, which was 2 hours away, and we stayed at a really nice hotel there. That hotel was about $330. When we came back from our cruise from the Trieste cruise port, we actually took another shared private transfer to Maestre, and Maestre is really close to the Venice airport, and that was like the best thing for us. We wanted to be really close to the airport because we had a very early flight the next day. And so that hotel that we stayed in at Maestre was about $191. So altogether, our hotel accommodations cost $521. Now, moving into transportation, there's $200 for an Uber fee, and that was from us going from our apartment to JFK, and then once we got back from Venice, from JFK back to our place. So that's $200. And then when we were in Europe, as I mentioned, we had shared private transfers. So from VCE to Trieste, that shared private transfer was about $132 for the both of us. And then the private transfer from the Trieste cruise port to Maestre for the 2 of us was about 87 euros. And altogether, that came out to about 219 euros. And in USD, that's about $228. Now getting into the incidentals. So I budgeted about $1,000 for food, souvenirs, and anything that we may have needed while we were out there in Europe. And I will say that that money went to good use. We got gelato from every port. We got food from most of the ports. We got some really bomb souvenirs, shirts, magnets, shoes, soaps, all kinds of good stuff. So with that, the $1,000 in incidentals takes the grand total to $12,500. For some, that may be extremely expensive. For others, maybe not so much. With that being said, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.